March 15th, 1959, 2:37 p.m. 7 men walked into Willie's Barbershop on 125th Street. All of them were carrying guns. Only one would walk out alive. Willie the Barber was giving Bumpy Johnson a shave. Hot towel on Bumpy's face, straight razor in Willie's hand, Bumpy sitting back, eyes closed, completely vulnerable. The first shooter raised his. 45. Don't move, Johnson. We got you. Willie made a choice that would haunt him forever. He dropped the razor, stepped back, raised his hands. 7 shooters spread out. Tommy guns, pistols, shotguns, enough firepower to turn the barbershop into a graveyard. Bumpy didn't move. He just said 3 words. Willie. Willie ran out the back. Behind him, gunfire erupted. The shooting lasted 47 seconds. When it stopped, 7 bodies were being carried out. But Bumpy Johnson walked out the front door, not a scratch on him, adjusting his tie. What nobody knew is that Bumpy had been expecting those 7 shooters for 2 weeks. And what he did to prepare sent a message that echoed through every mob family from New York to Chicago. Hit that subscribe button right now, because we're bringing you the real untold stories of Harlem's most legendary figure. Now, let me show you what really happened. To understand what happened in Willie's Barbershop, you need to understand who Bumpy Johnson was in 1959. By this point, Bumpy wasn't just the king of Harlem. He was the man the Italian mob couldn't break, couldn't buy, and couldn't kill. And that made him the most dangerous man in New York. March 1959. Harlem was Bumpy Johnson's kingdom. The Italian families controlled most of New York, but they couldn't touch Harlem. Every time they tried, Bumpy pushed back harder. 6 months earlier, Bumpy had done something no black gangster had ever dared. He walked into a meeting of the 5 families and told them no. The families wanted to flood Harlem with heroin. Big money. They offered Bumpy 20% of everything. Bumpy looked at them and said, "Not in my neighborhood." Vito Genovese, the most powerful mob boss in New York, leaned forward. "Johnson, you don't seem to understand. We're not asking." Bumpy stood up. "And I'm not negotiating. Heroin destroys communities. It's not coming to Harlem. Not while I'm alive." "That can be arranged," Genovese replied. Bumpy smiled. "You're welcome to try." Over the next 6 months, the families tried everything. They sent enforcers. Bumpy sent them back in ambulances. They put a price on his head, $50,000. Nobody collected. By March 1959, Vito Genovese was done playing games. "I want him dead," Genovese told his lieutenants. "I don't care how." Johnny Batts, one of Genovese's top killers, spoke up. "Johnson gets a shave every Saturday at Willie's Barbershop, 2:30 p.m. Like clockwork." Genovese smiled. "A man getting a shave. Vulnerable. How many men do you need?" "Give me 6 good shooters. 7 total. We walk in, we do the job, we walk out." Johnny Batts picked his crew. Tommy Two Guns Marconi, Salvatore Romano, Frankie Carlino, Angelo Ricci, Paulie Messina, Gino Battaglia, all experienced killers. The plan was simple. Surround Bumpy. What they didn't know was that Willie the Barber had heard whispers. "Mr. Johnson, I heard something. My cousin works in Little Italy. He overheard Johnny Batts talking. Planning something. He heard your name." "Did he hear anything specific?" Bumpy asked. "Something about Saturday." Bumpy nodded. He'd been expecting this. Over the next week, Bumpy gathered information. His network of bartenders, cab drivers, and street sweepers fed him the pieces. By March 8th, Bumpy knew everything. 7 men. Johnny Batts leading, Willie's Barbershop, a Saturday. He just didn't know which Saturday. Most men would have gone into hiding, changed their routine, stayed away from Willie's, but Bumpy wasn't most men. He called a meeting with Illinois Gordon and Hambone Jackson, his most trusted men. "They're coming for me at Willie's," Bumpy said. 7 shooters. Probably this Saturday or next." "Then we don't go," Illinois said. "No. We let them come." "That's suicide," Hambone said. Bumpy smiled. That's what they think. He spread out a blueprint of the building. Willie's isn't just a barbershop. I own the whole building. Over the next week, Bumpy brought in workers from Philadelphia. They reinforced the walls with steel plates, hidden behind fresh drywall. From outside, everything looked normal. But now, the walls could stop bullets. Behind the barber chair, they installed a steel plate on a hydraulic system. Illinois Gordon and Hambone Jackson positioned themselves in apartments above and beside the shop. Clear lines of sight through modified vents. Finally, Bumpy sat down with Willie. When they come, I need you to do exactly what I say. Willie was sweating. Mr. Johnson, I don't want to be there. You won't be. When I give the signal, you run out the back. Don't think. Don't look back. Just run. What's the signal? 3 words. Willie. The door. Willie nodded, but he could see it in Bumpy's eyes. This wasn't going to end well for the 7 men coming. March 14th. Johnny Batts gathered his crew. Tomorrow, 2:30 p.m., Johnny said. We go in fast. Spread out. Surround Johnson. Empty your guns. Then walk out calm. The men nodded. They'd done this before. Genovese wants proof, Johnny added. So we take a picture before we leave. What about the barber? Tommy asked. If he runs, let him. Our target is Johnson. That night, Johnny Batts couldn't sleep. From excitement. Tomorrow, he'd be the man who killed Bumpy Johnson. He had no idea he was walking into a trap. March 15th, morning. Bumpy woke up at 6 a.m. He made coffee. He read the newspaper. Everything like a normal Saturday. At 8 a.m., Illinois and Hambone were already in position, armed, waiting. At 10:10 a.m., Bumpy walked through Willie's, checking everything. The steel plate worked perfectly. The reinforced walls were solid. The vents gave clear shooting angles. Everything was ready. Mr. Johnson. Bumpy put a hand on Willie's shoulder. I've been sure about a lot of things. This is one of them. Just do your part. At 2:15 p.m., Bumpy returned to the barbershop. Regular customers were there, getting haircuts, talking. Normal Saturday in Harlem. Bumpy sat in his chair at exactly 2:15 p.m. The usual, Mr. Johnson? Willie asked. The usual, Willie. 3 blocks away, Johnny Batts and his crew checked their weapons. Tommy guns, shotguns, pistols. Enough firepower to start a war. Remember, Johnny said. Fast and brutal. No time to react. They got into 2 black Cadillacs and drove toward 125th Street. At 2:30 p.m., Willie placed the hot towel on Bumpy's face. Bumpy leaned back, eyes closed, completely relaxed. To anyone watching, he looked defenseless. But under that towel, Bumpy was counting. 60 seconds. At 2:37 p.m., the Cadillacs pulled up outside. Bumpy heard the car doors slam. He didn't move. He just listened. 7 sets of footsteps, heavy, confident. The barbershop door crashed open. 7 men with guns drawn. Johnny Batts pointed his .45 at Bumpy. Don't move, Johnson. We got you. Customers screamed and dove behind chairs. Willie dropped the razor, hands up. Bumpy didn't move. He just said 3 words. Willie, the door. Willie ran. Out the back in 3 seconds, Johnny Batts laughed. The 7 shooters spread out, surrounding Bumpy's chair. Any last words? Johnny asked. Bumpy opened his eyes. He looked at Johnny, then at the other 6. Then he smiled. Just 3, Bumpy said. Welcome to Harlem. His foot pressed the hidden pedal. The steel plate shot up between him and the shooters. 2 panels opened in the ceiling and walls. Illinois Gordon and Hambone Jackson opened fire from above and the side. Clear lines of sight, high ground, automatic weapons. Johnny fired at the steel plate. His bullets pinged harmlessly off it. The barbershop had become a kill box. The reinforced walls meant bullets couldn't escape. The steel plate meant they couldn't hit Bumpy. The positioned shooters meant they were surrounded. They'd walked into a trap. and there was only one way out. The back door Willie had just used. The first 5 seconds were chaos. Johnny Bats fired at the steel plate. Nothing. Illinois' shot caught him in the shoulder. Tommy Two Guns tried to return fire. Hambone's bullet found him. Tommy went down. Salvatore raised his shotgun. Illinois was already moving. Frankie and Angelo tried for the back door. Hambone had it covered. 2 shots. Both men dropped. Paulie fired wildly. None of his shots landed. Hambone's did. Paulie went down. Gino Battaglia was smart. He dove behind a chair and stayed low, waiting. The shooting lasted 47 seconds. When it stopped, 6 men were dead or dying. Johnny Bats was still alive, barely. Shot in the shoulder and leg. Crawling toward the door, leaving a blood trail. The steel plate lowered. Bumpy stood up, the hot towel still in his hand. He walked around, stepping over Tommy's body. He crouched beside Johnny. Johnny Bats, right? Genovese's boy? Johnny coughed blood. Go to hell, Johnson. Probably. But not today. Bumpy stood. Illinois! Hambone! Come down! It's over! His men came down, surveying the scene with professional calm. 6 down, Illinois said. Where's the 7th? Bumpy walked to the chair where Gino was hiding. You can come out now, Gino. Gino didn't move. I said come out. You didn't fire a shot. Smart. Now come out before I change my mind. Slowly, Gino stood. Hands raised, gun on the floor, shaking. You know who I am? Bumpy asked. Yes, sir. I could kill you right now. But I'm not going to. You know why? No, sir. Because you're going to deliver a message? You're going back to Vito Genovese, and you're going to tell him exactly what happened here. Bumpy stepped closer. You tell Genovese that Harlem is off limits. Heroin stays out. The next time he sends shooters, I won't leave survivors. You tell him Bumpy Johnson doesn't run, doesn't hide, and doesn't lose. Got it? Yes, sir. Good. Now get out. And Gino, if you ever come back to Harlem, there won't be a warning. Just a funeral. Your funeral. Clear? Crystal clear, sir. Then go. Gino walked out. Hands still shaking. Bumpy turned to his men. Clean this up. Get these bodies to the morgue. 7 mob hitmen tried to kill me. I defended myself. Self-defense. Legal. Bumpy walked to the mirror. When he was done, he adjusted his tie and walked out the front door as police arrived. The news hit New York like a bomb. 7 of the Genovese family's best shooters walked into a Harlem barbershop. 6 came out in body bags. The 7th ran back to Little Italy. Bumpy Johnson walked out without a scratch. The newspapers ran wild. The New York Times, mob hit goes wrong in Harlem, 6 dead. The Amsterdam News, Bumpy Johnson defeats 7-man hit squad. That night, Harlem celebrated. Music played. Drinks flowed. It was like New Year's Eve. Bumpy had done the impossible. He'd stood up to the Italian mob and won. In Little Italy, Vito Genovese was having a different night. When Gino walked in and told him what happened, Genovese didn't believe it. 7 men. And they're all dead except you? Gino nodded. It was a trap, boss. Steel plates. Shooters in the walls. We never had a chance. Genovese slammed his fist on the table. How did he know? I don't know. But Johnson knew everything. He was ready. And he let you live? He said to give you a message. Harlem is off limits. Heroin stays out. If you send anyone else, he won't leave survivors. The room went silent. Anthony Salerno, one of Genovese's smartest lieutenants, spoke up. Listen, to a black gangster, to reality. We've tried everything. We sent enforcers. They failed. We sent hitmen. They died. We just lost 6 good soldiers. How many more before we accept that Harlem belongs to Johnson? Genovese stared. Every man in the room was nodding. Finally, Genovese sat down. Fine. But everyone knew the truth. They weren't leaving Harlem alone because they wanted to. They had to. Bumpy Johnson couldn't be killed. 3 days later, Willie returned to his shop. Bumpy was already there, waiting for a shave. "Mr. Johnson, I thought you'd find a new barber." Bumpy smiled. "Willie, you make the best hot towels in Harlem. Why would I go anywhere else?" "But I ran. I left you. I left you. I left you. I left you. You did exactly what I told you. That's all I ask. Loyalty and trust." Willie picked up his razor. His hands weren't shaking anymore. "Same shave, Mr. Johnson?" "Same as always, Willie." Word spread beyond New York. Chicago heard. Philadelphia heard. Los Angeles heard. Bumpy Johnson was untouchable. And Harlem was his forever. The shootout at Willie's Barbershop became legend. It's been talked about for decades, but most people don't know the real story. They don't know about the reinforced walls, the hidden steel plate, the positioned shooters. They just know 7 men walked in and 1 walked out alive. And that's how Bumpy wanted it. Because the legend was more powerful than the truth. The legend said you couldn't kill Bumpy Johnson. The legend said he was invincible. And legends changed the game. After that day, no one tried to move on Harlem. No one tried to flood the neighborhood with drugs. Because everyone knew what happened the last time someone tried. Bumpy Johnson ruled Harlem until his death in 1968. He died of a heart attack at 62. Not from a bullet. From natural causes. Which might be the most incredible part of his story. He'd faced down Dutch Schultz, Lucky Luciano, and Vito Genovese. He'd survived assassination attempts and mob wars. And he died peacefully, on his own terms. Willie's barbershop stayed open for 20 more years. Willie never talked about that day. When people asked, he'd just say, "I was lucky to know Mr. Johnson." Here's the real lesson. Power isn't about who has the most guns. It's about being 3 steps ahead. It's about preparation. It's about knowing your enemy better than they know themselves. Bumpy didn't just survive that hit. He turned it into his greatest victory. If this story blew your mind, smash that like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit subscribe right now, because we're bringing you stories like this every single day. Drop a comment. Do you think Bumpy should have killed all 7? Or was letting Gino live the smarter move? Turn on notifications, because next week, we're telling the story of when Bumpy Johnson walked into a police station and walked out with the chief working for him. Remember, respect isn't given in Harlem. It's earned. And Bumpy Johnson earned every ounce of his.